Hey everyone, welcome to Wax Pack Wisdom. I'm Jake T. O'Donnell. Today I'm just going to talk and I'm going to show you some cards. Later, in a little bit, I want to talk about the conclusion of the 59 Tops Friday series that we've been doing on the channel here for almost 2 years. We have 2 episodes left. One will air this week, one will air the next week, and then we'll be done. So I've had a lot of, obviously 2 years of research and doing this series almost every week. And we're coming to an end, so there's just some things I wanted to say about the experience of doing this and about the set, and also give a special shout out at the end. Before we get into that, I wanted to talk to you guys about the kind of immediate future of the channel, and things may be a little bit quiet here over the course of the next couple of weeks. And I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update, and it is related to my health. And I'm doing well. Don't worry about that. I feel great right now. But I wanted to give you guys an update. If you've watched this channel for a while, you kind of know that the last year has been pretty challenging for me health-wise in a lot of respects. And so just to backtrack a little bit, because I know probably not everybody is aware of this. If you've been watching this channel since like last summer, you probably do know. Last September, I spent 3 weeks in the hospital because of a very terrible case of diverticulitis, which is something that I have dealt with off and on for pretty much most of my adulthood. And I've been open about this, so I'm not going to kind of shy away from it. But basically, the diverticulitis was so bad that they had to remove a very sizable portion of my colon surgically after I had been there for 2 weeks. They tried to treat it with antibiotics. It didn't work. So I've been living with the after effects of that surgery. And all along since then, since last September, we've known that I was going to need to have another surgery. And it was just kind of a matter of timing, of my body healing, of myself being better and feeling better, to getting to the right point where I could have another surgery to, without getting into too many details, basically get put back together. That's what needs to happen. So anyway, that surgery is happening this week. It's I'm not going to lie. Obviously, I'm nervous about it. It's not a routine procedure that I'm about to have, but I am very confident that I have the right care and I have the right support. Certainly, Abby, who I'm going to talk more about in this video, my wife, she's the reason why I'm still here, and she's the reason why I know that I'm going to get through this next little bit that I'm sure is not going to be super fun for stretches. But so I'm having surgery this week. I will be probably, the channel will be pretty quiet. I'm going to be posting this video you'll see this on Monday the 2nd. I'm recording a video tonight that I'm really excited about that will probably go up tomorrow. So that'll be Tuesday. And then I have 59 Tops Friday this week. And then the week after, and those videos have already been recorded. I have to still edit the one for the week after this, so basically next week. I still have to edit that, but it's recorded. I finished recording it a few minutes ago. And other than that, there may not be a lot on the channel. I'll do my best to try to keep you guys updated. I'll post in my sort of the community feed, my so you can see what hopefully there'll be an update I can give you guys, but the channel will be quiet while I get better. And I fully intend to be better than ever after the surgery, and have my serious gastrointestinal issues hopefully all behind me, and I can live a long, healthy life with sort of normal body function. And like I said, it'll take me a little while to recover, but hopefully all systems will be go by the national. I'll be good to go. I'll be there, and I'm really excited about that. That's what I'm driving towards. Remember last year, if you remember this, I had these plans. We were going to go to the Philly show. It didn't happen because I was in the hospital. And then once I had the surgery last year, the thing that was driving me forward was I got to get to the November Shriners. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I went, and it was amazing. And so this time, getting healthy is obviously really important. But the thing that the goal that's going to be in my mind is I really want to get to the national at the end of July. And I suspect that I will be. Hopefully everything goes well and I'll be there. So anyway, enough about that. I just wanted you guys to know that like the channel will probably be a little bit quiet over the next few weeks. Hopefully end of June-ish or so, we'll be back doing more regular stuff, but we'll see how things go. But anyway, so thanks for indulging me a little bit there. Let's talk about 59 Tops. This whole series kind of, I don't want to say we decided to start it on a whim, but like 2023 was when I seriously got back into collecting. And I realized at a certain point that I really wanted to build a vintage set, and it just kind of organically happened that 59 was what I picked. And as I was building it, and it took 3 or 4 months to do the whole set build, I realized that I wanted to do this project of let's go through every card in the set and give information about every player, about every team, about every person. There are a few non-player cards in the set. And just like, let's create this snapshot in time of what the game of baseball was like. If you were a kid in 1959, and I've been so lucky to have a lot of folks comment on the channel, comment on the videos that ripped packs as kids in 1959 and what it was. So I just wanted to really capture that. What was it like? What was the game like at this time? But then also like what ended up happening to these guys over time, over the course of their lives, beyond just baseball. And as somebody that I love the history of this, and the reason why I collect and the reason why I do this is because of how much I love the history, it did just seem natural that this would be a project that I would undertake. And I mentioned my health issues before. Like there was about a 3-month gap or so, almost 3 months. It was basically like 2.5 months, end of last year, where we didn't do any episodes because I was recovering health wise. Well, other than that, like it was basically every week. Like there were a few exceptions here and there between how I would take off like the last 2 or 3 weeks of the year basically, but every week it was researching these players, pulling the bios, putting together the information, recording and editing and putting the videos out. And I think that one thing that is fairly clear if you look at the numbers, the 59 Tops Friday videos don't do as well from a view standpoint as other videos do. But I committed to doing this project, and that to me at the end of the day, having this like complete work at the end was more important to me than anything else. And it will be something hopefully people feel like they can refer back to, or they can, if there's something about a specific player they want to learn, they want to know about. Hopefully we've provided that. So my wife Abby has been such a huge part of this project, co-founder of our channel. She loves to do research. She loves to learn things. She loves history as well, just like me. So at a certain point early on in this project, I realized that doing 7 to 10 player bios every week on top of everything else that I wanted to do with the channel and life and things like that was going to be a lot for me to do on my own. So Abby willingly stepped in and said, let's split it up. Let's split up the research. I'll take half the players every week and we'll go from there. And that's what we did. And so she wrote, I don't know what the point was when she started writing more of them, but we tag teamed. And we were talking earlier today about how special this has been for her to be part of this project with me, and how much she's loved it, and that she feels, she got emotional talking about how important she felt like it was that we finished this and we did this together, and that it was something very special for us to be able to do together too. And I think for us, we felt like it was really special and important to tell these stories about these people and these players. So I obviously, massive thank you to my wife for helping make this project happen, like being an equal partner in it with me. I think that doing this project, you realize so many things. You realize that, yes, it was amazing to get to talk about and write about the stars of the era, and I was so glad to be able to write about Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays. I have their cards here for the episode that I just recorded, the All-Star cards of these guys, these two big stars of the era, and everyone else: Hank Aaron, Al Kaline, Roberto Clemente, Sandy Koufax, Bob Gibson. His rookie card came out that year, obviously. The names are, there's so many Hall of Famers, but that number of Hall of Famers and even the All-Stars is dwarfed by the number of guys who didn't play in the big leagues for that long, but they did get a card in the 59 top set. And I loved getting to tell their stories. I loved getting to talk about the guys who were they were heroes in their hometowns and probably not a lot of other places. Or maybe they had a couple moments here and there in the big leagues that were memorable. They threw a no-hitter, or they hit 3 home runs in a game or something like that. And then they would go back to their hometowns, and they would be, in most instances, it seemed like those guys would be pillars of their communities. And it's because of baseball, like that they were, they had the ability to go back and, they would be teachers and community business leaders and those kinds of things. And they would work in recreation. They would have the Little League ball field would be named after them. I just think I've loved getting to highlight those stories of those guys who were not big stars, were not Hall of Famers, names that we only know now really because they had a baseball card in the set. But they went back to their hometowns all over the country and were critical, important parts of life and continuing to grow the game in a lot of ways, but also grow communities. So I loved getting to tell those stories. And it is amazing how many guys, didn't really play that much. Like a number of guys in the set that only played maybe 2 or maybe a year, barely a year. I was struck by how many guys in the 59 top set served in the military. And I'm not just talking about guys that served in World War II and in Korea, in the Korean conflict, but guys would just regularly leave baseball and go and serve 2 or 3 years in the military while they were in the minor leagues. Even in some cases when they were in the major leagues, they would leave. I was really struck by that. I was struck by the willingness, the sacrifice. And I know the draft was part of that and was an ongoing thing, right? But that really struck me too. And there were quite a few guys in the 59 top set who especially served in World War II, that were war heroes, and they deserve to have their stories told. And I'm really glad that we were able to tell their stories. And yeah, I mean, stories that stick out, like Tommy Carroll, who we told his story not that long ago about. He played very briefly in the big leagues, and he went on to have a career in the State Department. And then it came in his obituary. It came out that that working for the State Department was most likely a cover for working in the CIA. So there was a guy that ends up being in the CIA. The Ruben Gomez story. Abby wrote that one beautifully about how he won the lottery. He gave the money to the kid that gave him the lottery ticket, and that kid grew up and was a surgeon who sort of presided over a life-saving surgery that Gomez later had. I loved getting to tell that story. So to me, like I said, the most important thing to me was getting to tell the history of this era of the game, and I equally loved getting to write about the big stars. The one that I wrote about Mickey Mantle, the second episode that we ever did, because he was number 10 in the set, is one of my favorite things I've ever written. I loved getting to write about Willie Mays. I loved getting to write about Warren Spahn. Getting to write about Roberto Clemente was an honor, and having that be part of this was special. Getting to write about Hank Aaron was an honor. So I'm so glad that we have this little piece of baseball history that is preserved, and hopefully people can go back to it. And I hope that people enjoyed it. I know, like I said, I know that these videos didn't get the 1,000 views. I'm not ranting about Jeff Wilson or something like that, but there was a dedicated following of people that watched the videos every week. And for the folks that did watch every week, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to folks that commented, that reached out, that emailed. Thank you to Larry, one of our regular watchers and commenters, who sent pictures from when he was a kid visiting Comiskey Park and seeing the pennant-winning White Sox in 1959, getting to use his photography from his childhood as part of the series was really special, and I want to say thank you to Larry for that. Thank you to, again, other folks that reached out and really appreciate it. So I've kind of talked for a while already, so I want to finish this off, and this is going to take a little bit. But one of the reasons why it was so, another reason why it was so important for me to do this and preserve this history was because this is an era where we're losing the firsthand accounts of this era because, sadly, as you know, the sands of time as they go, we lose folks from this generation all the time. And I always tried to make a note when somebody was, and I did always make a note, when somebody in the series, somebody was still alive when we recorded their video. Unfortunately, over the course of almost 2 years, quite a few of the folks who we covered in the series that we said as of this recording, they're still alive. Unfortunately, a number of them have passed away, including Willie Mays. Willie Mays was still alive when we recorded his video. Unfortunately, he has obviously since passed away. And there are quite a few others as well. But there are a number that, as of when I'm recording this on Sunday night, June the 1st, a number that are still alive. But it's a small number. And to put it in context, there's about, I don't know the exact number, but there's about 500 individual player cards in the 59 top set. If you take out there's 572 cards. If you take out the all-star cards and the multiplayer cards and the team cards and a few others here and there, and like the Warren Giles and Ford Frick and Casey Stengel and Fred Haney and those cards. You take those cards out, I'm going to say roughly there's about 500 individual unique player cards in the 59 top set, and of those 500 or so, only 36 are still alive. So I pulled all of the cards out of all of the gentlemen who are still with us, again, as of this recording, and I wanted to show their cards and shout them out and say thank you. And there's some small names and there's some big names that are still with us. So I wanted to run through all 36 of those cards right now. So here we go. Billy Hunter. Vern Law, I believe the 1960 National League Cy Young winner, member of the world champion team that year. Red Worthington. Bobby Richardson, who won the World Series MVP in 1960 in a losing effort. Great Yankee legend, still with us. Johnny Gorel, longtime coach in Major League Baseball. Pedro Ramos. Zach Monroe. Eddie Haas. Don Lee. Bob Lillis. Dick Stigman. Jim Marshall. All right, so here's the first of 3 Hall of Famers in the 59 top set who are still with us, thankfully. Sandy Koufax, the great. Obviously before his historically amazing run, but thankfully Sandy's still with us. The oldest currently living player with a card in the 59 top set is the ageless Bobby Shantz, who will turn 100 in September. He is also the oldest living former MVP, the 1952 MVP with the Philadelphia A's. I believe also the last person left alive who played for the Philadelphia A's. So Godspeed to Bobby Shantz. So glad he's still here. Ted Bousfield. Fred Kipp. Orlando Pena. Chuck Asigian. Russ Heeman. Jackie Brandt. Marty Keough. All right, here is the next of the 3 Hall of Famers. Luis Aparicio, the Go-Go White Sox. Outstanding defensive shortstop, great base stealer, and the hero of baseball from the nation of Venezuela. Bob Skinner. Gary Bell. Roy Face. Thankfully, a lot of members of the 1960 World Champion Pirates are still with us, including one more big one that's coming up. Bill White, And that big one that's coming up is the last of the 3 Hall of Famers from the set that are still alive. Bill Mazeroski, of course, hit the famous home run in 1960. Ken Aspromonte. Ronnie Hansen. Willie Kirkland. Johnny O'Brien, the famed O'Brien twins. Tony Kubek, Yankees champion, longtime announcer, still with us. George Altman. Gary Blaylock. Jim Perry, the brother of Gaylord Perry, and a great pitcher in his own right. And the last one, Lee Tate. So I hope all those gentlemen out there, hope you're all doing well. Thank you for your contribution to the game. And it was an honor to get to write about you and cover you in 59 Tops Friday, which, again, will be coming to an end. Not this week, but next week. Again, those episodes are recorded in the can, and will be scheduled and posted on this coming Friday and the Friday after. So thanks very much for listening to me talk. Like I said, I will have another episode. I believe supposed to record it Monday night, scheduled to record it Monday night. That should go up on Tuesday. Then the next 259s, and then hopefully I'll see you soon after that. But thank you very much, everybody, for watching, as always. Check out our social media links. Check out our ComC store. Check out the list of our favorite nonprofits and charities. It mean a lot if you could check one of those out. So thanks very much for watching Wax Back Wisdom, and we will see you next time. Take care.